So Techtober is over, and all the phones we've been waiting for have finally come out. But which one is best? So I have 4 phones in front of me that I think represent what people are most likely to buy. I have the iPhone 11, Apple's entry-level model, the Galaxy S10 Plus, which is Samsung's flagship of the Galaxy S line. I have the OnePlus 7T, and I have the Pixel 4 XL. So I've been doing this test now for 3 years, and while the phones have changed, the results haven't. The last 2 years, the iPhone has pretty comfortably held its title, but this year, not so much. I'd pick the OnePlus 7T over all of these phones. It might not be the top in every category, and quite frankly, it's not. But what OnePlus has delivered with the 7T is a phone that delivers what you want and what you need without sacrificing or compromising much of anything. So, design. OnePlus has really been refining its smartphone design over the years, and the OnePlus 7T really brings a unique character that its other phones didn't have. On the front, it's mainly all screen like the other ones here, but the bottom bezel is super skinny and the top is even smaller, and it has a tiny little teardrop notch for the front camera. So compare that to the Google Pixel 4 XL, which has a pretty massive bezel at the top and the bottom. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which has that weird kind of dual selfie cam that I wasn't totally thrilled with. And the iPhone 11, which sticks to that big giant notch that is just getting stale at this point. So until we can get to that all-screen design that everyone's pushing for, the 7T, I think, nails it a little bit more than these other 3 phones. It has a real modern, real refined look. So if you flip them around, and you can see how OnePlus stands out here too. The iPhone 11 we know has that square camera bump, and the Pixel 4 XL has it as well. And the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus has a very standard horizontal camera array. So the odd man out here is the OnePlus 7T, and it has a circular camera array rather than the rectangle or the square. Now, it's not the first phone to do this, but I commend OnePlus's decision here. It could have easily just kind of followed the crowd and did a horizontal or a square like Google did. It really creates a unique look for the 7T, and in a world where all these phones kind of look the same, it's nice to have something that stands out. And one more thing. When you use it on a table, it has way less wobble than the iPhone 11 or the Pixel 4. In my book, that really matters. Okay, now on to the display. Now, all the OLED phones here, the OnePlus, the Google Pixel, and obviously the Samsung, use Samsung displays. So from a technical standpoint, I have to give the crown here to the Galaxy S10 Plus. Samsung makes insanely good displays. I mean, just mind-blowing. But while the Galaxy S10 Plus is the winner here just by technical achievement, the OnePlus 7T deserves a shout out because of its 90 Hz display. Again, it's not the only phone to do this. In fact, it's not the only phone of these 4 to do it. The Pixel 4 XL has it as well, but it's the best implementation. On the Pixel, I didn't really see that much of a difference. Some of it is the way Google implements it. Some of it is like a weird bug that limits it to certain brightnesses. But on the 7T, when I switched to 90 Hz from 60 Hz, the difference was massive. The display felt much smoother. Scrolling was like butter. I mean, it is just an insane difference from 60 to 90 Hz that I did not feel on the Pixel 4. The other phones here, the Galaxy and the iPhone, don't have that yet. I'm assuming it's coming next year. And the iPhone still uses LCD, it's still 720p, and while it's a really good LCD, it's just not in the league of the others here. So these are all flagship phones, and they all have the latest processor, but the OnePlus 7T is a little more latest. It uses the Snapdragon 855 Plus processor, while the Pixel and the Galaxy use the 855. Now the differences here are kind of academic, but it's a late 2019 phone, and I want to know that I have the best possible processor I can get moving forward. However, either of these processors pale in comparison to the A13 Bionic and the iPhone 11. I mean, it's not even close, it's not even fair. I ran all sorts of benchmarks and tests and everything like that, and the iPhone just plows through every test imaginable because of Apple's optimization and iOS. But if you want speed, I mean, it's iPhone all the way. Android, they just haven't caught up, and honestly, I don't know if they ever will. And with battery, iPhone also just kills it. It has the smallest capacity out of all the phones here by a significant margin. It's 3,100 something milliamp hours versus 4,000 plus on the S10. But what it does with the small battery is just mind-blowing. It's like that 3,100 milliamp hour battery is like 5,000. It actually lasted longer than all the phones here, even though it's significantly smaller. But the OnePlus 7T still has extremely good battery life. It's gonna last you through a full day, no problem. And it runs Android 10 out of the box. So we're getting all those optimizations, the adaptive battery, and all the things that Google has done to make Android more efficient with this version. Interestingly enough, the Pixel 4, which also runs Android 10 out of the box, kind of sucks. I don't know what is going on here, but the battery life on the 4 XL, I mean, it's not like horrendous, but it's not up to par with what a 3,700 milliamp hour battery should bring. And it's certainly not up to par with what a 2019 phone running Android 10 should deliver. It was consistently the last of the bunch, and even in like these like mini tests that I did where I ran videos and stuff, it consistently brought up the rear, and I don't really understand why. So one more thing in relation to battery life is charging. Now, OnePlus still doesn't have wireless charging on the 7T, and it's a major source of frustration for me. But its charger in the box is just killer. OnePlus calls it Warp Charge 30T, and it's obviously quick charging. It's a little bit bigger than the other ones here, but it was the only phone that was able to go from 0 to 100 in less than an hour. OnePlus in particular has taken a major leap over last year's 6T. We saw it with the OnePlus 7 Pro earlier this year, and all of that has come with it. But more importantly, their computational stuff on the back end is getting really, really good. They have a night mode that's great, portrait mode that's great, and in good lighting, in like perfect lighting, you're gonna get pictures that rival any of these here. Like, you won't be able to tell the difference. But the big kind of gap between these phones that still exists is with night mode. Google pioneered this last year with the Pixel 3 and just blew us away. Samsung picked it up, Apple picked it up, and now all of them have a version of that. Google's is the best when it comes to Android. Apple's is really, really close if you compare the two. And a lot of the pictures I took, I preferred Apple's version because they highlight shadows and they do things, whereas Google just kind of brightens the whole scene. But when you're comparing against the S10 and the OnePlus 7, you know, the Google is the one to beat. It still is. But the camera, it's no longer a liability on the OnePlus 7T. It's really good. You know, if you get technical color accuracy, white balance, you know, it's not quite on par with the Pixel and maybe even the Galaxy and certainly the iPhone. But if you buy this phone, rest assured you're getting a really, really good camera that's on par with any of these. So the OnePlus 7T doesn't have the best display or the best camera or the best processor or even the best battery, but it's close. It's a contender in all of those categories, and what puts it over the top is the price. The OnePlus 7T costs $599. That is $100 less than the iPhone 11, $300 less than the Pixel 4 XL, and $400 less than the Galaxy S10 Plus. I mean, that is significant. There's nothing about these phones that are hundreds of dollars better than the OnePlus 7T. Now, people are going to argue about iPhone versus Android until the end of time, and I wouldn't dissuade anyone from buying an iPhone 11. It's a great phone at a great price. But if I had to put my money up on one of these four and only one, I'm going with the OnePlus 7T. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for all the rest of our Android coverage, and what do you guys think? iPhone, Pixel, Galaxy, OnePlus. Am I off base? Am I wrong? Let me know, and I'll catch you next time.